How's it going, everyone? Doogie Manhammer here with a little bit of a talk, a little bit of a discussion. So, as you all may know or may not know, the final update for Sonic Frontiers, the final Horizon, recently released last week. And I recorded my entire journey through it with 2 live streams that spanned over 2.5 hours each, as well as a final video with the Coco Master Trial and the final boss. If you want to see me go through it, please, by all means, go check those out. Had a great time with it. Well, I want to say great time, but I'll get more in depth here in a second. But I wanted to talk about the quality of this update, as well as what it may mean for the future of Sonic. So let's get back into it. Let us talk about the update. So the update itself, as it was branded and like through marketing videos, whatever, was new story, new playable characters, and new challenges. So the new story, basically just changing the ending ever so slightly, right? So everything leading up to Oranos Island. So Kronos is still the same, Ares is still the same, Chaos is still the same, Rhea is still the same, but then you get to Oranos, right? And I'm not sure if this is how it is if you play it normally, like a new playthrough, if it'll even show up at first, or you have to beat the game first and then it'll show up. But basically, this new update changes the last island, and it lets you play as Amy, Tails, and Knuckles, and then as Sonic again. And it revolves around that twice. So I'll just go out there and say it. Playing these new characters was such a breath fresh of air, I feel like. And I was so giddy and so happy to play these new characters. And I say new, but they haven't been playable since like 06, basically. Not in a meaningful way, which is kind of crazy to think about. That was the 15th anniversary Sonic game. Here we are, more than double that later, and they're finally playable again. Thank God. But they just felt, I mean, they were a little janky, don't get me wrong. Knuckles especially was very, very weird to control, very loose. But I genuinely did not care that much. I was just so happy to play as these characters again. Yes, please, fine-tune them, make them better to play as, and make them a little bit more, and just better. But I was just so happy to play them again. Oh my god, I was literally so giddy playing as Amy, as Knuckles, as Tails. It was so cool. I will say, the really dumb thing was implementing their skill trees. I would have been fine if they had a skill tree, but they could have just made the extra features of their moves be what was the skill tree, like the longer float, or like the max float, whatever, with Amy's third jump, or like the little hammer attack that she has, the only one hammer attack. I'll get to that in a second too. Or Knuckles' his infinite glide, make that a skill tree thing. Yeah, not just his punches. That should already be there. Why do I have to invest 5 skill points to make him punch? That's a little bit ridiculous. They're like Tails' his tornado that you can actually fly as with the boost in the air is so freaking cool. That's a skill tree thing, not his ability to throw a wrench. Like, come on now. Everybody should be able to attack for free. That's unnecessary. It's very unnecessary, especially with the Psyloop. I get the Psyloop is like a new thing for everybody, so like pay 1 skill point to unlock it. But with a game that mostly everybody has already played and already completed, done whatever they wanted with it, they know how integral the Psyloop is going to be to the game. So like, why not just give every character a Psyloop and a punch, whatever basic abilities, right from the go, and not have to try to unlock it. It's just like an extra unnecessary step. But those aside, I was just so happy to play with these characters again. Amy was my favorite one to play as by far. She was like a platforming goddess, and it was great. I really wish that they made her hammer a bit more useful. I mean, it's in the promo images. She's holding her hammer all the time, and then come to find out, like 90% of her arsenal is something to do with tarot cards, which I don't mind. It's cool that they're making tarot cards a bit of her up in her repertoire, I guess. I mean, it's a little much in this game, but I think it's cool. Like the triple jump with the tarot cards, that's a cute idea, that's cool. But like, why isn't her basic just like a hammer swing? I think that makes more sense than like throwing cards out Yu-Gi-Oh style, like it's not like she's summoning Dark Magician and Dark Magician Girl in attack mode to fight these enemies, Same thing with Tails. Like, whatever happened to like being comfortable with him swinging his tails to defeat enemies? It's like they only did that in Sonic Adventure 1, and then they were too scared to ever make him like hit anything with his fragile body ever again, and now he has to throw wrenches or be in a mech or something like that. It's just weird. It's weird. Throw bombs, fake bombs, coin rings. It's just odd. It's odd. But his flying is super cool. I love the way they implemented his flight in this game. Just being able to fly so freely, it harkens back to the SA1 days, and I love it. Knuckles just not being able to punch right away is just so weird. And his fighting is very much not as in-depth as I would have liked it to be for someone like Knuckles, you know, the fighting person. I think it would have been cool if he actually had deeper combos like Sonic to fight these enemies with. He was like the brute, you know? He should be able to fight a little bit more. Tails, I guess maybe not show him so much, but still. And then Amy's like a good in-between. But I mean, I loved playing these characters, and if this means that the next Sonic game is already like implementing multiple characters from the get-go, and this is like a taste of that, and like they're working towards that, that's fantastic. I would be so excited if the next Sonic game had multiple playable characters from the get-go. And of course, Superstars is going to have that, but I mean in a 3D environment. Superstars is a 2D platformer, that's great. It should be a given that we play as more than just Sonic, please. But for a 3D game, like an adventure style game, Sonic 06, whatever, thank God that more characters will be coming soon. I hope that's what they get from this. I don't want people to be like, oh my god, these characters are so janky to play as, they suck, they're not as good as Sonic, don't do it again. Like, no, this is just like a taste of what they could be. Please flesh them out further so we can see them again in the future. That's been my biggest gripe with Sonic in the past like decade or more, ever since Sonic 06, is that no friends are playable anymore, other than like a side mode or a party mode or a dumb little mini game. Like, please just let them be playable full experiences like they were back then. That's why Sonic Heroes is one of my favorite games of all time, is all of these characters are playable. Yeah, they play the same with little quirks, I get it. That's the whole point. But it's just the variety, the different storytelling, the different little quirks they have within their group. It's just so refreshing instead of just Sonic. As much as I love Sonic, he has all these friends for a reason. Stop making them shoehorn themselves into a closet, never to be seen again. Sorry, I'm very passionate about that. I just really want to see Sonic's friends again and play as them. Oh my god, when are we going to see Silver in a meaningful way again? Please! Anyways, the actual DLC content itself was fine, you know? I really wish we got to play as these extra characters a little bit more. It felt like it was just playing as Sonic most of the time anyways, climbing those horrific towers and doing those challenges, which, I mean, yeah, you could character swap after you defeat the last child before you fight the final boss, and you can 100% the island as, you know, any of the characters and keep doing stuff with it. But I really wish that we could have spent more time with, or like was forced to spend more time with those characters just to, you know, have more time with those characters. I just felt like it was too short of a time spent with them that was mandated, you know? Yeah, I can go back and play as them, and I have, and I love it. It's so cool to be able to play as them again. But I just felt like it was just a half hour playing as Amy, Tails, and Knuckles, and then another hour and a half to 2 hours playing as Sonic, doing these trials and climbing these awful towers. And then rinse and repeat once more, and then final boss time. But these towers, by God, Sega, this is not a platforming game. This is a 3D open air whatever sandbox that Sonic can boost and run around in. Sonic is not meant, and neither of any of these characters, except for like maybe Amy and Tails, are not meant to platform on these very small segments. I swear to God, the amount of times I tilt the controller up one time and Sonic just runs careening off the building and just plummets to the ground is insane. There is, unless, and this is just one of my gripes with Sonic Frontiers in general, is the sliders. Yes, it's great to have accessibility as an option and be able to fine-tune Sonic to play how you want him to play. That's great. But Sega, if you want this to be a platformer, make Sonic control the best he can in a platforming setting. If this is a boost game where you're running around the island as fast as you can, doing little tricks and stuff in the air, exploring, doing little things, then that's the game, that's the way Sonic's gonna play. You can't intermingle these things so much. That's why I hated Chaos Island as much as I did. I didn't hate it, but I disliked it the most out of all of the islands. Because there were so many 2D platforming sections that did not coherently go with Sonic's gameplay in the 3D setting. They are two different kinds of gameplay that did not intermingle well with the way Sonic is meant to be played. It felt too slow, or it felt too fast, it felt too loose, or it felt too strict. There was never a right mesh. And that's how I felt about a lot of the cyberspace levels too, except for the ones that were, you know, like Sonic Unleashed, or like the more adventure-ish kind of in design. Those ones played the best because that is kind of the way Sonic has been designed to play in this game. Not as a 2D platformer, not as a 3D platformer even, as like a boost Sonic. And that if that's the way they envision his movement style to be, then that's the game they need to revolve around him in, not make it like a Banjo-Kazooie Mario 64 Sonic Adventure platforming thing. Not like only up. Come on. That's not what Sonic was built to be, so why are you making him do these things? It's just very odd. And the trials themselves, I mean, you say what you want about the Master Trial being like ludicrously hard, which it is. It was a cool idea and concept, but like all the restrictions regarding only 400 rings and you couldn't collect any more rings, like there wasn't like a 50 ring bonus at the end of each Titan fight maybe, and the perfect parry system, yeah, I get that it involved itself in the final fight a little bit, but not so much to be like, yeah, you have to beat all 3 times with a perfect parry so you can, you know, perfect parry those little orb things that come every like, you know, minute or so. Like it wasn't that necessary. But yeah, I mean, all in all, I really did enjoy the DLC solely for the fact that we did get to play as Amy, Tails, and Knuckles again. I will say it is a good DLC solely for that fact, and that we actually got to have different like ways to play them as. Like they all played differently, slightly. They all still had the same moves, but like they played them differently, and I really liked it. They paid attention to a little bit of their personality, like Tails' tornado that he can unlock. That's so cool. That big giant buster cannon he can have with his tornado. That's sick. Knuckles being able to infinitely glide with a boost like Tails' is playing. That's sweet. I wish he was able to dig. I wish his climbing wasn't so jank, honestly, but I mean, like, it was cool. And then Amy's just so floaty and so nice and great. I loved playing as Amy so much that I can forgive the terrible platforming as Sonic and some of the absurdness or like the absurdities of the trials. I can give those a slight pass because of these new characters, but I didn't get to play these new characters as much as I would have liked to, like, in general. Like, I wish I could play them on different islands. I wish after beating this and like 100% in the game or something, I can go back New Game Plus as these new characters. Like, that would be sweet. That'd be so sick. Add so much more replayability. That'd be amazing. Alas, that's just for something for the next game, hopefully. If they implement it better, or if they do like a Sonic Adventure remake and they retool everything and that they pay attention to it more. I don't know. I just really hope that this DLC shows what Sonic Team's looking at for the future, and if they want to make Sonic more of a platformer again and not just a boost hell, or, you know, implement more playable characters that play slightly differently, have their own strengths and weaknesses, that'd be great. I mean, I enjoyed how difficult it was. It made me a little angry at times, but I enjoyed that it was like, hey, like, this isn't a joke. Like, this is gonna rough you up a little bit. I kind of enjoyed that. I mean, obviously to a point. Like, I had to go to easy mode to finish the Master Trial because, good God, that perfect parry is ridiculous. But I mean, like, they see the vision with Sonic. They see how cool he can be. They see how hype he is. They see how to make a spectacle with Sonic. And that has me very excited. They just really need to fine-tune the finer elements of what the next game is going to be and make sure it plays the way they want it to play. Not for every other Joe Schmo, just like, I like my acceleration after I jump off, or I like to have my acceleration at 50, my top speed at 70, and my bounce height to be at 80. Like, what the hell does that even mean? It's like, stop. Just let Sonic play how you envision it, developer. If it's bad, it's bad. If it's good, it's good. Yeah, you can fine-tune it and it'll be better for individual people, but that's just that I don't know. Maybe I'm just rambling on too much. Maybe that's just a me thing. All in all, I really did enjoy the DLC. It made me play this game for an extra, 10 hours than from my last save, and that's an extra 10 hours that I wouldn't have spent otherwise, so I appreciate the return to the game. I really did like it. I just hope his friends come back. I just hope more friends come back and stay a while, That's all I want. Anyways, that's enough for this rambling. Let me know what you thought of the Final Horizon DLC. Let me know what you thought was cool, good, bad, hype, not hype, whatever. Let me know. I want to hear your thought. You just heard mine. I want to hear yours and what you think is best for Sonic moving forward. Good God, that final boss fight, my lord, what a spectacle. How freaking epic was that? Oh God, so cool. Sonic is so cool. All right, I'm ending the video. I'm sorry, I'm rambling. See you guys next time. Bye.